What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean. So glad to be back on a Thursday afternoon. Honest to God, not a word of a lie. Woke up today, thought it was Friday. I was like, man, I got clients. I got to do all this stuff. Nope, Thursday, get another day. It's kind of like finding a $5 bill on the couch, man. It's just win-win for everybody. But we are back again. We've got another Man United News Roundup for you. I'm excited to hear your thoughts and your opinions and some of the latest and greatest news. Not a ton, but a little bit to go over. Some of it we've already hashed over, but there have been some updates. So, as always, you guys know I always want to stop by and get your thoughts and opinions because nobody wants to just watch me talk for half an hour. So, welcome back to the channel. If you guys weren't able to catch last night's show, it was the premiere of the new segment, the new show on the channel called The Kickabout, where I would love to have Dylan be a regular part of this channel as a co-host, and we just it's kind of like a recap. It's not breaking news, it's not kind of like live. It's just this is what's happened throughout the week. This is some of the news and whatnot. You know what? Just kicking it around. It's super chill. If you guys were there for the show last night, you know what I'm talking about. But had fun doing that. Always have a blast having Dylan on, and I love seeing the chat interactions. Really, the kickabouts really going to be led by you all. You know, and as you saw last night, as you guys are chatting, as things are coming up, we'll put polls out there. It'll start a whole nother topic of discussion. I have a blast doing that. It's like I said, super laid back, and you guys know that's kind of what I'm going for on the channel. Super chill. Basically, just the channel is like just chatting about footy, about United, just how you would with your mates at the pub or whatever. So, but glad to see the community embracing it. Glad to see everybody getting involved and enjoying it. Really having a good time. Let's see who's getting involved in the chat. Lyle, big up, Lyle. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're having a good Thursday, not Friday, as I thought it was when I woke up this morning. So we're going to talk about the news today. So like that video for me, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on the road to 3K. Every little bit helps. Super easy to do. Right down in the corner, little red subscribe button if you're new. You'll see it. So go check out the memberships if you guys want to learn how to get more involved. I know someone last night was asking, hey, can I get involved in the kickabout? Well, the top tier membership does allow you to do that. So keep a lookout for the memberships. You can get involved in that. Go check out GoGoalShop. There is a link in the description. If you guys want to get $5 off, use that code that GoGoalShop hooked me up with. You will get $5 off your first order when you register with that code. Excellent gear. Go check out Fubo. There's a link in the description for Fubo. There's a link in the description for Kitbag. Right now, I think Kitbag's got a deal where you save 10% when you sign up right now. And then Fanatics. There's a link in the description for Fanatics as well. More United gear. You guys saw me rocking brand new kind of urban leisure top that United's come out with last night. Got that on Fanatics. They had a 25% off sale. Always, Fanatics is legit stuff. It's just awesome. So, and Kitbag's not bad either. So go check it out. Let's see who else is getting involved in the chat. Dublin Games, big up. Always good to see a new face in and around the channel, man. Welcome to the community, man. Hope you're doing well. Danny, big up, Danny. Hope you're doing well on this Thursday. Like I said, I honestly thought it was Friday when I woke up this morning. All this pollen and all this heat and like just doing so much outside this week has got me just exhausted. These last couple nights, I've slept straight through the night, almost slept in. And for me, sleeping in is like 5:30. I'm usually up by like 5 and everything. But sleeping well, I'm just exhausted because of these allergies. But hope you guys are faring a little better than I am with this crazy heat and this crazy pollen. But let's kick things off, starting with Man City a little bit. So TalkSport claimed just a little while ago that City have admitted to a breach of Premier League rules. So, hey, look at that. They're admitting to something, right? And it looks like they have been fined. So, obviously, we know City's got this ongoing case. A lot of us want it to be wrapped up. I know it's been going on for a minute. I don't know what you guys want to happen with that. I just want all their titles and their trophies to be stripped. I don't care about fines, transfer bans, relegation. I don't care about points deductions. I just want take away every single trophy. And I'll be happy with that because it just starts them back from square one, basically. But 115 charges. But so the rule that they've admitted to breaching, that they are the league itself has been in agreement to fine them on has to do with delays to kickoffs and restarts times. I guess City were guilty of this on 9 occasions this past season between October and February of delaying the kickoff and the restart. And so obviously that's a violation of rules. It's funny when you start looking into the laws and everything, what is a violation? Like you can get violated, you can get caught, like you can get in trouble for like the length of your grass and stuff like that. It's insane. But this does mean that they are guilty of something. It is what it is. It's a £1 million fine for them. So they're like, F it. Just, that's like toilet paper for them. They'll just rip it off and give it away. But one down, 114 charges to go, right? Lyle says, I'm in the southern hemisphere, so winter has hit us. My season, baby, all the way in South Africa. Big up, Lyle. Good to see him. And I'm digging the Riley. The Riley avatar out there. That's if you guys know me, Justin and I love watching Boondocks. It's been one of my favorite shows. Such a good little show. It's been around for a minute too. I remember watching that when I was in college, like 20 years ago. I don't know if it's still going, but Justin and I will watch it. Stink Meter. You guys have been watching the channel. I'll throw out a Stink Meter soundbite every now and then, but I do love me some Stink Meter. But big up, Lyle. Good to have a South African here on the channel and getting involved in the community. So how are you guys feeling about the City's charges? It's been a minute since we checked in on that. Are you confident of anything kind of swinging football's way, I guess is the way to put it, or do you think they're just going to get off scot-free? What sort of punishment, if any, do you think the City will have to deal with? Like I said, I'm not aiming for anything other than what I think will hurt them the most, and that's just take away all their trophies. It is what it is. Now, if they're forced to be relegated, I'm sure they're going to lose a lot of players, but they've just signed like 8 players in the last 6 months. So they're literally just holding up 2 middle fingers to football in general right now. And it's embarrassing. Like football should be embarrassed. The Premier League, the UEFA, the CAS, all of it should be embarrassed that this is going on this long. I don't think they should. If any of these charges had to do with transfers and stuff, I don't feel like they should have been allowed to do anything else while this is going on. Because now, even if they're fine, they've been allowed to get these players in, and they're hoarding them basically. Now, what would really be interesting is if they're found guilty and they're like, well, no, you can't register these players because all this is going on. That would be hilarious. You're getting guys like Nippon, Cherky, and they're like, nope, can't play anymore. Anything's probably a fine. They'll basically get away with it. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You don't hire all these lawyers. You don't go through this process. Now, again, there is no statute of limitations when the Premier League got involved, unlike the UEFA one. So we'll see how it goes. Remember, that was a big part of why they didn't get in trouble with UEFA, is that statute of limitations. But we will see what happens there. But I thought that was interesting. They are found guilty today of one. They've admitted to it. So interesting enough. Let's move on to Brian and Mbeumo. Don't forget to get involved in that poll. I put a poll out there for you guys to get involved in. We've got a little bit of Brian and Mbeumo stuff going on today. So it's been reported that the Mbeumo deal is nearly over the line. There's been a lot of progress this week. A lot of things it's like just in the final steps. We're coming around that final turn. So Ben Jacobs speaking, I think it was with the United stand. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't watch the channel that channel that frequently. Nothing against it. I don't have enough time in my day to watch all the different channels and things like that. So you got to be a bit selective. But Ben Jacobs says United are in contact with Brentford, making verbal suggestions regarding the structure of the deal so that when they make their official second bid, it is with the utmost confidence that will be accepted. And we talked about that. There's no point in just throwing blind bids out there like you're trying to bid on something on eBay or make a best offer. Like, they're not going to waste time. They're going to say, hey, what's going to get done? How do we want to structure this? Okay, we're agreed in principle. Let's write it down on paper, and then that's the bid. That's how transfers work. Duncan Castles claims that Brentford wants 70 million. We're offering a 60 million package. It's probably going to be somewhere in the middle. It'll probably be like 55 million plus like 10 million in add-ons or something. That's just how it works. That's pretty much what we've been saying for over a week. This weird bird noise outside my window. Lyle says Fabrizio getting his hourglass emoji ready. He's getting it going, man. He's getting that here we go thumbnail ready to go. It'll be happening. I think it will happen. The question is just when. Haggling over a few million may not seem like a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but we are a little skint. I don't think we're as skint as much as some people at the club would have you believe. I do think our finances were a complete shit show. But I have very little sympathy for Ineos and their team because they knew all this and they still took over the club. So it's not like it came to a surprise. That's why I'm not really having any the Omar Barada's comments that we talked about last night on the Kickabout. Like, oh, we didn't realize it was this bad. Bro, you knew. And if you didn't know, then that's on you still, too. You lose in that situation, my guy. That's on him. So no point in going back and forth, though, like I said, with these bids with Mbeumo. Just reach a deal, submit the bid, get it done. It was very, very, very interesting that Brentford posted a compilation of Mbeumo goals on their official Twitter account this morning, too. I thought that was really weird. I don't know what you guys think about that. Red Devils, rundown, big up. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the channel. Mbeumo, the new number 7. That would be legit. I wouldn't mind that. I would give Ahmad the number 7 too. I don't think that Mason Mount. It's question though if Mason Mount's going to be here. I've seen some crazy reports. I forget who it was that who was it? I feel like it was somebody recently, like well known, but they were saying that basically Amorim's not really convinced, and the club is trying to move Mount on. I mean, I would sell Mason Mount in a heartbeat. It's kind of like Sancho. You're never going to get your money back. It was a bad deal. Like, you're just going to have to just cut your losses and get the wages. I think he's on like $250K a week, Mason Mount. Maybe we could throw him at Brentford. Maybe we can cushion the blow and help that out. That'd be ideal. But again, you lose Mount, you lost Eriksen. You're going to need an expedited midfield signing unless you want to promote Kone. Even if you promote Kone, though, I still think we need a midfielder. But it's just a matter of priorities, right? Danny says, hit that like button on the way in. I do appreciate that. So yes, please hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribing. Bright Tete Ayertai, is that how I say it? Ayertai. Welcome to the channel. He says we need to sign a central midfielder. I'm right there with you. You guys know it was a toss-up for me going into this summer between a striker and a goalkeeper. I don't rate Andre Onana. We needed someone who could put away goals. We've spread that around with the Mbeumo, the Cunha. We've got Ahmad, Bruno. All these guys are going to score. Obviously, we're looking at strikers. I do think we still need a left-sided center back. I do still think we need an older, more experienced left back because Dorgu's still 20. So we'll see. I know we're linked with a lot of young right wing backs, but you guys know that I do also think we need a central midfielder. I think in an ideal world, Casemiro would be sold as well, and I'd go get Hayden Hackney. I just don't think it's high up on the priorities for the club right now. I think that's a sell to buy situation if the opportunity comes up. And so Hackney, Yashari, Lamine Kamara, Agume, all these guys, you guys know I really like all of them. We talked about Angelo Stiller a couple times, but Danny agrees. We love it. Who's your center midfield pick, Bright? Let me know who you would have in here. Ederson. I know Dylan really liked Ederson. Red Devils Rundown says need Frank back. Oh no, let the guy stay retired. It's bad enough we took away his ambassador role. Let him retire. Let him hang out and enjoy his life. He'd probably get a little more out of some of these players, but I think that's because he could do that like no other. That's not me saying like Amorim's got to do that. Comparing any manager to Fergie is just an exercise in futility. It's just not going to happen. So Mbeumo looks like I think we'll see a deal soon. The question is, I put that in the poll though. When will it be done? Well, when it will be announced? I asked you, will Mbeumo be a done deal before next week? So basically, by the end of the weekend, by Sunday, will we see a done deal for Mbeumo, an announcement? 75% of you say yes. 25% of you say no. It's interesting, but it does sound like Brentford have a replacement lined up. So it sounds like they're getting Czech Sabali, who is from Metz, I think, in Ligue 1. So obviously they're already working hard. It's just weird they put out a compilation video of his goals. Is that like a au revoir, like farewell, thanks for the memories kind of thing? Or are they just kind of trolling? Danny wants Yashari. I would love Yashari. I think we might. I'm getting the feeling, Danny, that we might be saving our big center midfield signing for next summer. And I think that how Arsenal went for Declan Rice, I think we're going to see someone big like Adam Wharton or somebody like that. That's the feeling I'm starting to get right now. I think maybe we promote Kone or one couple of the other youngsters in and around that first team for rotation. We got Ugarte, Mainu, Bruno, Casemiro, Collier, if he sticks around, will be here as well. We've got a lot of center midfielders. I think it sounds to me like the club is kind of, if we don't sell anymore, we're going to give these guys a year. Let's see who's here. Casemiro will probably end up leaving for free and going to the Saudi League or Turkey or something. Danny says Kamara, Wharton, Rios. Yeah, we talked about Richard Rios yesterday. We got those fresh links. Doing a bit. I was going to maybe see if I could try to find a way to watch Palmeiras today, just because, again, you guys, I watched that for him. I didn't get it's just, I can't watch the Club World Cup because I don't have any of the freaking channels. So then it says Hackney and any of the above, I would be happy with. Hackney would probably be my choice. Super cheap, homegrown. He's done it in the championship. He's probably one of the championship's best players last season. His ball progression is an absolute top notch. We've talked about that many times, but there are a lot of midfielders out there, is basically. So there's no shortage of quality midfielders. But if we do have a top target and we do think that maybe they could go someplace else, it's probably worth it to go get that done. Bright likes Onana at Aston Villa. A lot of people are liking Onana at Aston Villa. Yeah, he's good. He's doing a good job. So yeah, let me see what you guys are saying. 78-22. So a lot of you think that Mbeumo will be a done deal before the weekend is up. So I'm going to close that poll down. Thank you guys for getting involved in that. Let's move on to a new name that we have been linked with. What does this say? That's weird. I don't know what that was. Kudus, Mohamed Kudus. Now we've been linked in the past to Mohamed Kudus, but we got fresh links this morning. I woke up and was like, oh, okay, interesting. Again, a player I really like, and I know a lot of you like him too. He was one player. I liked him at Ajax. You guys know I watched a lot of Ajax, especially when Ten Hag was still there. He didn't use Kudus a lot. Kudus was actually used more as a 10 under Ten Hag at Ajax, but he's done really, really well on that right-hand side for West Ham. Very energetic, very physical player, probably their best player, West Ham. But Jacob Steinberg with the Guardians kind of offered us a bit of a fresh link as well. And he's even added that Kudus now has an 85 million release clause that's valid for the first 10 days of July for Premier League clubs. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. I'll put a poll in here. So Kudus, 85 million release clause. Let you guys tell me what you think. You guys, like I said, this is your channel. I'm just here to throw out the topics and let you guys share your thoughts. Danny says, going to stick on Palmeiras now. Forgot they were on. Yeah, did that kick on at 12 or something? I got to check. I thought it was 3. It could have been 12, though. I don't remember. Yeah, okay, it did kick on. It looks like it kicked on at 12:30 or something. I don't know. He's playing. They play a 4-3-3. He's one of the 8s. But the problem is, Danny, it's on a weird. I don't get DAZN, and I'm not going to get DAZN to watch the Club World Cup. Laz says we have less games next season, so a center midfield we can get away with it. But would love to see us get a center mid. Yeah, I would definitely take it. The question is whether or not it's a priority, because with the PSR and the situation we have with the bloated squad, the wages, the players that we're still trying to get rid of, it's got to be about priorities. And so, and it's not saying it's not my priority. I'm looking at it the way the club's probably looking at it. Danny does not want Kudus. Says his attitude stinks. I kind of remember off the top of my head some of the issues that he's had. I know we talked about Cunha's a lot last year because Cunha had a lot of attitude issues, which was kind of a turnoff for me for a while. Never questioned Cunha's quality. I just questioned his attitude. But some managers will take that as a challenge to kind of either kind of filter some of that attitude out, or they will work with a player to channel it and use it in a positive way, if that makes sense. Lau says, I really wish we could take advantage of Villa's financial situation and go for Onana or Watkins. I don't know if you're going to get Onana. They just got him last year. Watkins is an interesting one, though. I know a lot of people like that. If we got Ollie Watkins, I don't think he's the answer, but I think that with the other goal scorers that we brought in, and Mbeumo and Cunha, we still have Ahmad and Bruno, I think it would be less. If we didn't have Cunha and Mbeumo, I would be like, no, I'm not going near Ollie Watkins. But now I'm like, okay, interesting. I know Arsenal have been chasing him for a century and a half. But Danny says, go get Mora from Porto. Yeah, another one of those young players. You guys know I liked Turkey a lot. Nipan was a big up, Sanjay. Good to see you, man. Good job. Danny says, I got to get an unlocked Fire Stick. Interesting. That sounds like a lot of work for a Club World Cup. Maybe is it on Fubo? If it's on Fubo, I mean, you guys can check the link in the description. There's a link to give you straight to Fubo. I think they've got free trials all the time, so you can go get a free trial at Fubo. I think it's like a 7-day free trial. I've done that a couple times in the past, but yeah, I'm not going to go too far out of my way. It's like when you're camping and you're trying to go scrounge for food or something. You got to look at calories you're expending versus calories you'd be getting in for all that work, and sometimes the work is just not worth it. So it is what it is. Danny says, have you a fire? No, I have an Xbox Series X. That is my streaming platform for everything. So all the apps and stuff are on the Xbox because I play FC25 as well when I get some chance. So would you pay the 85 million pound release clause for Kudus, though, is the big question. I can't think of many people. I'm trying to think of clubs. I could see, well, no, Arsenal needs someone on the left-hand side. I think Grealish should go to Arsenal personally, but trying to see maybe Newcastle. Supposedly Newcastle are uber rich, but like they don't really buy that many people. So I think he could do well at Newcastle on that right-hand side. I definitely think they could do an upgrade. I'm trying to think. Surprised Chelsea aren't in form. He's probably a little old for Chelsea. You know, Chelsea around those Leonardo DiCaprio settings when it comes to their signings. It's just funny they spent all that money on Mudryk, and now the guy's going to be, his pretty much career is done. We talked about that a little bit last night. Danny says, get a Fire Stick. Pretty much everything else I need to watch, though, is I have access to it. I got Paramount, Peacock, TNT for other things, ESPN Plus. So I can watch all the games that I typically watch. I don't really care that much about watching the French league or things like that. I think there are some other leagues on Paramount. Like I know like the Argentina league used to be on Paramount. I don't know if it still is. I would love it if I could get the Brazilian league at some point, but I don't really need to go out of my way to get that. So pick up, Justin. What's good, my guy? Hope you are doing well. Good to see Justin in the chat here, Justin. This is just for you.
Oh, yeah!
But big up, my guy. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I'll have to give you a call here in a little while once I'm done here. We're just doing some news right now, man. But what are you guys saying about Kudus? 85 million release clause for the first 10 days of July. Dang, no love. 71% of you would not go near that. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't see where Kudus would play at United, honestly. So we got Cunha, we got Mbeumo, we got Ahmad. He's not going to play striker. He plays on the right at West Ham. Honestly, you could see him playing as a right wing back, but we've got Ahmad and we still got Dallo kicking around, who I'd probably still try to sell if I could, maybe send him off to Atletico or back to AC Milan or something. I know Kyle Walker left AC Milan. I thought I heard yesterday that Kyle Walker's going to Everton. Did I hear that right? It's interesting that, is Ashley Young still there too? Obviously I don't follow Everton, so I'm not sure on the intricacies, and I don't care about Kyle Walker that much. It was just, what a weird move to go to AC Milan. And it's clear he's on the decline, but what are you going to do? But yeah, 85 million is a lot of money to pay out a release clause for someone who's not really going to, he's got competition for a place in this squad right now. It's not like the old days where you're competing with, Mount or something. No, you got Cunha, you got Mbeumo, you got Ahmad. That's who you're competing with basically. And he's going to be at AFCON as well. So you're paying 85 million and then you're not going to have him for maybe 6 matches because he's with Ghana, right? So what are you going to do? But I thought that was interesting. I didn't know he had that crazy release clause. So we know City like to pay these stupid release clauses for a player. Maybe they'll go back in for him. Who knows? But it sounds like you guys are not having Kudus at United. I think maybe like a year ago, a lot of us were talking about him, but Danny says, wait, get more on next year. Just concentrate on getting a striker, CM, and a keeper. Yeah, I think next summer it's definitely going to be, I think you're going to see a new center back links. I think you're going to go hard on a better center midfielder, like a top quality, like an Adam Wharton or something. And I think you're going to see another 10, like a younger 10. By that point, like Mora is going to be expensive any way you look at it. And so that's an iffy one. There are other players out there that could do that job as well. And you guys know I'd love to see someone like Biancheri come in and maybe get rotated into one of those 10 roles as well. I think Biancheri can really do a job there as well. Montato, Camison, we've got a lot of youngsters. I'd like to see us start promoting some of these guys because if Mora was like in Nippon where he would have been a little cheaper, it'd be different. But Mora's going to cost a lot of money. Not saying I wouldn't have him, but I almost would rather promote from within at that point. With the academy and then see what you can do from there. Because whether you wait another year or so from Mora after that, he's still going to be money. So Lacey, yeah, don't forget about Lacey, Scanlon, Morehouse, Abragamov, all these guys. We've done a couple of watch-alongs for the academy. Justin is in the chat. He and I went to an FA Youth Cup match this past January when we were in Manchester. Love to see it. Scanlon was doing the dirty. Yeah, JJ Gabriel. JJ Gabriel's got a little bit of a ways to go, but that kid is already rocking. The dude played like an under 16 match, and then the very next day turned around and played on under 18 and scored. So that kid's got it. We got to do everything we can to keep that kid at this club, man. Wrap that kid in cotton wool for sure, because he's just too good. He's too good for his age. He's got no right being that good. It was like 14, 15. That's not fair. Like, it's not fair. So, but it sounds like you guys are not feeling Mohamed Kudus. So sorry, Kudus. Maybe another time perhaps, but you had your chance. 85 million is a lot of money. So got other priorities. Seems like I'm just prepping for the next stuff we're doing here. So let me moving on. What is going on with my computer? Okay. Computer's messing up. There we go. We're good here. Danny says, I think he'd be in the first team at 16, 17. He could. I think he very well could be. I think it would be stupid not to at least figure out a way to get him in and around the first team, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm just kind of... Okay. Computer's being weird. There we go. That's better. So let's move on, because we have been linked to another striker. I know. You guys are tired of the striker links. It seems like every week it's a whole new name. But we've been linked to a new striker, so add it to the list, right? I mean, honestly, though, this guy I've had on my list for a while in terms of doing scout reports on, so it's sort of like a transfer rumor / scouting report in that case. So you could say it's cheating, but I like to look at it as killing two birds with one stone. So let's jump right in here. So, So Graham Bailey has linked us with a new striker, and this striker's name is Tolu Akoradere. Graham Bailey says United are showing interest in Genk's 24-year-old Nigerian striker Tolu Akoradare. So United scouts have pushed Orokadare's name, and he is someone that Christopher Vivell and Jason Wilcox are aware of and appreciate. Now, we know Vivell and Wilcox are working hard to find some of these lesser-known kind of strikers, lesser-known players. We've got a lot of these young Malian midfielders in and around. We've been looking at linked to a couple of wingers as well. Vivell's got obviously a lot of connections with that Salzburg situation, the RB group, which I like. The RB group is well known. I mean, Ralph Ragnick, who I'm still mad that we got rid of. But so we've been linked to this young striker, not young. He's not like 20. He's like 24. But because it was also a combination scouting report, now we can talk about him a little more. So Tolu Orokadare, Genk, Belgian league striker, 24 years old. The dude is an absolute physical monster. His aerial duels are on point. He's really, really good. He's so physical. He's so big and strong. The anchor and the hold-up play are top notch. His movement in the box, too, is like elite level. When I watch him, because you guys know I watch a lot of the Belgian league, this guy's movement in the box and just timing of his runs, the spatial awareness, where the best position to be as the play is building up. The guy is totally got it, like up here, man. He can read the game. And he's physical, which you have to be in the Premier League. So Tabasi, big up. The big Tabasi. Hello, Earthlings. Take me to your leader. Nice. Darkro, good to see you again, man. Hope you're doing well. Been a minute. Lovely to see you. But so this dude is an absolute physical specimen. Danny says he's got more goals than Promise David. Yeah, Promise David's, I think, a year or so younger. If I remember, it could be around the same age. But so this dude is 6'5", absolute beast. But he is your hold-up, your anchor striker. He is great for holding the ball, getting Cunha and Mbeumo's runs in and around him, that link-up play. This guy can do that. But he's also such a poacher in the box. He is so dangerous. All his goals this season have from inside the box, and he scored 23 goals in all comps, 5 assists in all comps, so 28 goal involvements in all comps. All his goals from inside the box. You get that ball in the box, odds are this guy's going to put it away. He's also won 4 penalties this year, which is among the top in the Belgian league. It's that savvy movement in the box that causes problems, and defenders have no choice but to basically foul him. He reminds me a lot of Cavani, the way he plays, just knows what to do. He's already showing elite level reading and movement in the box, like I said, and he just knows what to do, where to be. reminds me of peak Cavani in that regard. Nigerian, so he's going to be gone for AFCON as well this season. But again, 23 goals, 5 assists in all comps, 6 times Team of the Week in the the Jupiler League. Top scorer in the Belgian league last season, Team of the Season in the Belgian season as well. The guy is excellent. Top 4% for goals, top 10% for shot creating actions. His pass completions on point, literally top percent for touches in the box. Again, poacher. Top 20% for aerial duels. That 6'5" is definitely a big help as well. That could really help us on set pieces. Now you may be thinking, okay, he's had one good season, Sean. I didn't think you liked one season wonders. I don't have a whole lot. I don't have anything against players who have an excellent breakout season. You guys know I just need to see more. But last year, his numbers are indicating a trend. He had 15 goals and 2 assists in all comps last season. So you're seeing a little bit of an upward trend now last season was his first season with Genk too. So whereas you saw a good first season from Højlund and then a sharp drop off, we're seeing a steady trend for this guy, which sample size, you guys know I need that. 20 million pounds reportedly gets it done. Benfica, Galatasaray have been linked to him in the past as well. We know Benfica like to get their hands on these, but they just got Pavlidis not that long ago either. I'm going to take this off the screen now so we can talk like adults. I like him a lot. You guys, like I said, he was on my list. I've had him in the chamber for a while here in terms of getting this scouting report done. To be honest, though, I'm not sure how much stock I put into this. I'm not saying I just completely disregard anything from Graham Bailey, but this is a very random link. It kind of feels like journalists looking at some of the top goal scorers around, knowing we need a goal scorer, and basically saying, "Oh, I'm sure maybe clubs are probably interested, and let's link United too." I see him definitely as someone who you're going to see someone like a West Ham or like a Newcastle or somebody look at, maybe Brighton if they lose João Pedro, things like that. But I think he's a very good striker. He suits what we need. We need someone who's going to have the movement in the box to get on the end of these chances and link up with these other players. And he ticks literally every single box. Danny says he suits what we need 100%. I think so. And he's cheap. That's not obviously my top priority, but is he as good as someone like a Gyökeres or an Osimhen? No, he's not. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that he's younger and he could be. I mean, Gyökeres didn't really break out till he was like 25 at Coventry, and he was balling out at Coventry. This could be the breakout season for this guy. And it'd be a shame to not take a little closer look at that. Debashi wants to know, is he pacey at that height? He might take very hard falls and could get injured. Maybe, but he draws a lot of fouls, he wins a lot of pens, and he scores a lot of goals. And he does all of his damage from inside the box. And he's really good at linking up. And so as far as pacey goes, I'm not sure if that's as vital. If we're playing under Ollie or Jose, I could see maybe being vital. But I think that the way that we've got these runners around him now, they're going to be doing a lot of that legwork. He's going to be linking up and then he's going to 1-2, let someone grab it. He's going to turn, get into good position. And if you watch any of his matches, times his runs very well. It's not just in and around the box waiting for something to happen. He can read the situation. So he kind of like Frank Lampard, he knows when to make these late third man runs. Sometimes he's not always just waiting around in the box cherry picking. He knows where to be, when to be there. And he's very good at reading the game. You can't really teach a lot of that. That usually is either natural or it comes from experience, which is why I'm a little more patient with Højlund in that regard. But let's see. Targro says there was a Tanzanian striker in Genk named Bwana Samata. He came to Villa like 2 or 3 seasons ago. Interesting. Good to see you though, Garcro. So you guys let me know what you think about Corridare. I really like him. So it was just very random that we were linked to him this morning. So moving on, guys, make sure you're hitting that like button if you haven't yet. Do appreciate that. You guys know it always makes you feel a little warm and fuzzy inside when people are liking the videos. So this next link is coming from ontheminute.com, which is when your name is such and such.com. I'm always a little iffy, but On the Minute have linked us to a defender, a center back. It's been a minute since we've seen a center back links. This is League On defender who plays at Le Havre, and this is Arona Sangante. So a lot of clubs have been linked to this kid, 23-year-old Senegalese. A lot of African players that we've been linked with, and that's not, discriminatory. It's literally what we've been doing. So Senegalese center back, 23 years old, valued around £7 million. Sounds like he could be on the move this summer. He's got 1 year left on his current deal, so he's entering the final year of his contract, and it doesn't sound like maybe he's going to be renewed. He is the captain of Le Havre as well, so that's a big, big miss. Kind of like Marc Guéhi last year with Palace. Stuttgart, Augsburg, Aston Villa, Sevilla, Marseille, all linked to him as well. Did I say Aston Villa? I mismeant Sevilla. Sorry. He's a very modern center back, though, Sengante. Very, very, very good progressive numbers in terms of carries and passes, well above average, but his tackles and interceptions are also very, very good as well. So, again, the kind of defender that suits the system, the kind of defender that you really need in the modern game. Just like sixes in this system, it's not enough to just win the ball. You've got to be able to do a little bit of everything. You got to be physical, and you've got to have ball progression. As a defender in this system, you got to be able to track back. You've got to be able to progress that ball in the first phase of attack, and you've got to defend. And I think this guy suits that. He's played right back at times as well, so I really think that he would suit the right side of our back three. Question is, where does he fit? Maybe you put him on the left. Maybe you put Euro on the left, Mizraoui. It's a nice problem to have. I'm still iffy on the prognosis for Licha. I wouldn't want to rush him back, but it doesn't seem like the club is all that worried. Aiden Heaven, Maguire, De Ligt, Mizraoui, Euro, Fredricksen's been in and around the first team, obviously. We'll see what happens there. Luke Shaw will probably slot in at left center back too at times, maybe at left back. Maybe Amorim sees him at left back. Maybe that's why we're not sweating a whole lot, but I don't consider Luke Shaw a part of the squad anymore. So here's the issue, though, with Sengante. Injuries. 15 matches missed this last season, like 125 days out through a combination of pelvic and abductor injuries. So definitely a no for me. You guys know how I feel about injury players. I don't like calling people injury prone necessarily, because I think that's a bit more of like a character assassination almost, but I'm done with players who have a lot of injuries because it's just not going to happen. So moving on from that one, you guys, because not having it. But you guys let me know if you watch any of the French league. I just don't watch a lot of the French league personally, but let's see. Danny says Vavel signing. Yeah, it does have, it does have that vibe to it, though. And I don't have a problem with that. I've looked at a lot of players. We've been linked to guys like Omar Salat as well. Who's the dude? Bisek at Atalanta now, and then I obviously did a lot of scouting reports into the spring and summer on guys like Casuno and stuff, who I think is at Leverkusen now. I can't remember now off the top of my head. But I mean, there's a lot of center backs. There's a lot of center midfielders out there. I think that with good recruitment, good scouting, good analysis, you can find some really good hidden gems out there. Debasis wants to know, can Ignacio be an option? He's probably up there as a target. I've featured him in my one of my scouting report videos, or one of my rebuild videos, he was probably in my center back, my Licha replacement video, as the Amorim player signing, if I remember correctly. I don't remember off the top of my head, but he could have been in there. But he definitely suits the system. He definitely wouldn't be crazy expensive, and so it is a no-brainer. Obviously, DeBast is doing really well, although he's kind of a defensive midfielder these days, Zeno DeBast. Diamande is a lot of people's picks as well. So Amorim does have a track record of working with these young defenders. So Danny thinks he's probably a top target for sure. Danny says no thanks. Yeah, the injuries do kind of turn people off. It's like I said before, it's like when I was house hunting before we got this house. I don't want a pool. I know a lot of people love pools. I don't want to take care of a pool. I think to me that just looks like a money pit, although I have a boat, and a boat pretty much is a money pit as well. But it's a simple move on for me. And so when I see the injuries, I'm done. So Debasi says, abductor injury. Yeah, count me out. Yeah. Well, if we had some money, I would have said Hato. Yeah, you guys know I love Gioro Hato. I think he's an excellent player. Young Ajax defender. Very, very good. I think that one's probably going to be crazy expensive, though. Kai, big up, Kai. Welcome back, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Enjoy me. Let me know how your Thursday's going. So, more Emi Martinez links. A couple of them are just Argentinian outlets giving us a little bit of updates, basically saying that he's offered himself to United. He wants to stay in England. He and his family like it in England. Contacts have been initiated. I did see a little blurb. I think it was some Fabrizio Romano that says, I think it was like initial talks have already begun. He's ready to agree to a move to United if we want him, kind of a thing. 40 million is just way too much. That's the price that I'm seeing that Aston Villa want. Now, I thought, like a lot of people, I think still think that he was free. He's not free. He's contracted till 2029. Now I think he can leave, but I don't think Villa are just going to let him leave for free. Let's be honest. His contract runs to 2029. He's not free. It's just the way it is. But 40 million is just way too much. Even half of that, even 20, 25 million is iffy when you look at the kind of keepers that are out there and the better value that's out there for money. Guys like Yvan Diouf, Andre Lunin at Real Madrid, Sen Lamens at Royal Antwerp is one of the best up-and-coming young keepers out there right now. There's a lot of, I would have gone for Johan Garcia. Obviously, he went to Barcelona. It's 40 million for a 32, 33-year-old keeper who's, quite frankly, on the decline. It's just not smart. And he is on the decline. Look at his percentiles and compare them over the last couple of years. This past season was his worst. It just was. You can't get around that. And so I've also never thought Emi Martinez is as good as a lot of people think he is. Obviously, yeah, he won a World Cup, but I've just never looked at him as a world-class keeper personally. He's got a lot of personality, which I do like. I'm here for the shithousery, but and I think he could play for United. I think he has the kind of personality and attitude to handle the weight of that shirt, unlike Andre Onana. I think he's night and day difference when it comes to that, but I just not going to pay 40 million for a 32-year-old keeper. It's not going to happen. So Dubai says his agent want those good United wages. He's already on a bit too. I think he's on like 125K a week. Not happening there. Danny says 20, 25 mil. I would take him anything over that. Piss off. Yeah. I don't want to spend a lot. If we get a keeper and we spend that much, I'd rather just go get someone who's, 25, 26, like a Lunin, like a Doof, one of these guys. I would love Chevalier. I don't think that's going to happen. He's way expensive, but 40 million is just an absolute piss take. That's Danny says probably pass. There's always a mistake in him. Yeah, I mean, obviously we remember that match that we played against Villa, likely his last for the club, the final day of the season, rushing out, tackling Rasmus Højlund, getting sent off. I'm just not. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. So it is what it is. Maybe if there's some sort of Sancho swap, because that would make it be ideal. I think Sancho could suit Aston Villa's system pretty well on that left-hand side. They need a left-sided player. I don't think a Rashford-Garnacho swap will be in the cards because they represent a lot of potential profit being academy graduates. I think we'd want to get fees for them. But a Sancho swap, just to get Sancho out of here, would be fantastic. That would be great. So I doubt that it'll happen. Villa, interestingly enough, though, they have their own PSR issues, as one of you guys mentioned earlier. We should probably try to take advantage of that. But Ben Jacobs thinks, though, that we could exploit that in a couple weeks, maybe when the financial year ends. Maybe that could be an opportunity to go in for Emi Martinez when Villa are starting to really feel the pressure. It's nice to not be the only club struggling in that regard, right? One keeper we could be set to miss out on, though, is Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, who it sounds like Napoli are kind of swooping in late on to get ahead of everyone. I think Napoli just lost their keeper. I think he left for free, so obviously they're looking out for one. But it sounds like they're swooping in with an 18 million euro offer. I think that's like 15 million pounds to try to get ahead of other clubs. And take, I would definitely throw down 18 million euros or 50 million pounds for Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. I think that's almost a no-brainer personally. The guy's an absolute fucking unit. He's literally, like, you look at him, he looks like Kratos from God of War. The guy's fucking massive. Lamens is Danny's pick. Yeah, I like Lamens. And I suggested the other day that it doesn't sound like we're in a hurry to get rid of Onana, but I would have definitely, if we have no choice but to keep Onana, if that's what the club was do, then I would love the club to get Lamens and then send him back to Antwerp on loan, just like Liverpool did with Marmardashvili. I think that would be my preference if this is all predicated on the assumption that Onana stays. If Onana stays, it is what it is. But we can't keep on. Onana's going to cost us. He's cost us so much in the last couple of years since he signed for us. We've got to get rid of him. He's literally hurting us. And I don't know how the club doesn't see this. Maybe they're keeping their cards close to the chest and we're trying, but we'll see. But Debasi says Costa has a 70 million clause. I've never been, again, I'm not saying Costa's bad. I'm not saying I'm right and wrong. I never got the hype with Costa. He looks like he's got a bunch of mistakes in him. He had several mistakes in him when we played Porto this year. I've never been super, super convinced. I definitely don't think Costa is worth 70 million. The only keeper I would pay maybe that much for would be like Chevalier or something. Because I do think Chevalier is a little better. Costa gives me early De Gea vibes sometimes. He's a little bit cautious. He's a little got a little early mistake in him there, and he's older than De Gea was. So it worries me a little bit. We can't get any if no one buys Onana. Yeah, that's the trouble too, is we still have Onana kicking around. So it is what it is. Danny says, good idea on the Sancho swap. Yeah, that was just me figuring out, because we're never going to make our money back on Sancho. It's always going to be a loss. It's a flop. It is what it is. The key there is just getting these wages out of here. So maybe that would be the only deal I would do, because I'm not paying $40 million for Emi Martinez. It's not going to happen. I think that is ridiculous. And I know there's some people out. I saw someone literally like online earlier, like, "Whoa, we paid that much for Van der Sar. Look what happened." I'm like, we can't just use Van der Sar as the example for why signing a 32-year-old keeper for $40 million is going to work. Like, come on. Why don't we just compare every winger to Messi then? And when, like, that's not how arguments work. That's a fallacy. It just does not work that way. There are literally, I would challenge anyone to name me any other keeper in their 30s that is top class still, aside from Van der Sar, Buffon, and like Ter Stegen maybe. That's it. And that's it. There's, out of all the keepers that have ever footballed in all the history of football, people can only want to use like the three outliers as their examples. Like, that sample size is like 0.03% of all the keepers out there. Like, it's just not, like, the math ain't math in there. And so I'm not having Emi Martinez for $40 million. It ain't gonna happen. So Dabassi thinks Savage should be a good backup. Yeah, he ain't coming in to be a backup. He'd be coming in to be the starter. So big up, Rich. How much would he cost? Who are you talking about? Let me know who you're talking about. How hot, it's so hot today. It's going to be 100 degrees here starting on like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And I can't stand summer. I don't like to just sit here and say, I hate this, I hate that. I don't like being negative, but I hate summer so much. Give me winter over summer any day of the week, man. I'm like, I hate weather that doesn't make me want to go outside. And between the two, I can put more clothes on if I get cold in winter. I can only take so much clothes off in the summer and it's still hot. Like, I just can't. Like, it's just science. It's science. Tobias says, Lille also increased Chevalier's price after interest. Yeah, I don't think Donnarumma is going anywhere. I think Donnarumma just wants a new contract, and it sounds like he's going to get it. I saw some stuff here saying that he could get a new contract. Danny says, no air conditioners in the UK, Rich. Oh, shit. I always forget that the utilities over there are very, very different. Interesting. So 90 degrees outside. Yikes. Interesting. Schmeichel. Yeah. So, now we're up to 4. So 4. Let's see what I mean, though. Red Devils, Rich says, keepers shouldn't be washed. No one's saying keepers are washed, but I mean, like, it's just not like, no, like, the sample size of keepers who are top class. There's a difference between wash and being top class. People are like, De Gea is like 32, but is De Gea top class still? De Gea wasn't top class his final couple seasons at United. He was declining. Hugo Lloris, same thing, declining. Neuer, maybe you could put Neuer. So we're up to 5. 5 keepers in their mid-30s who, in the history of football, who were still class that age. Like, that's what I mean. Like, the sample size, most of the time people are replacing their keepers by that time. So Pickford's already on the decline a little bit, and he's only, like 30. Oh, you're talking about Kudos, I think. So that was Jacob Steinberg linking us again, saying he's got an £85 million release clause that kicks in for the first 10 days of July. So that's why we're going on keep Kudos here. Debassi's good eye says, as long as you're not in Arizona. My sister used to live in Arizona, and she kept asking me to come visit. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming to Arizona. Ew, that sounds like the worst place in the world. Brandon, welcome back, says keepers mature at 32. They might mature at 32, but that doesn't mean that they're good at 32. If you know what I mean? Like, how many keepers of 32 are you like, yep, I'd take him and I'd start him at United? Now try to forget Onana's shitness for a second and just on, like, all things being equal. And that's what I mean. Keepers mature. Strikers can mature at 26, 27, 28. Doesn't mean that they're good. That's just when they mature. That's just how it works. So I get you. Totally get you. Jomo, welcome back. It's 26 degrees Celsius in Manchester. What is that in Fahrenheit? I speak Fahrenheit ease. Bacon, gross. Gross. Brendan says, you're talking about football IQ versus, I'm talking about quality versus age is what I'm talking about. because you can say that all keepers are going to mature on average around 32, but are in terms of quality and quality for the first team in Manchester United, that's what I'm getting at. So we can name maybe 5 keepers in the last 30 years who in their mid 30s or early 30s, like Emi Martinez, who are good enough at that age to start for United. That's an incredibly, like infinitesimally small sample size when you look at keepers on the whole. Most of the time, no one's going out and spending 40 million on a 32-year-old keeper. And Emi Martinez is on the decline. Let's not have it any other way. If you look at his percentiles, go to FBref, look at his scouting report for the last couple of years. This season has been his worst season compared to the 2 seasons that came before it. He is on the decline. He's making more and more mistakes, more and more bad decisions. We saw that in the final match of the season last year. I never really rated him as highly as a lot of people did either. And I'm not saying that means I'm right and everyone's wrong. And same with Diogo Costa. I just never thought Diogo Costa. He never really filled me with confidence. Diogo Costa always gave me early David De Gea vibes. We're just a little weak, a little lacking physicality. And you guys know that that's a big bugaboo for me with keepers. If you can't command your area, if you're too afraid to come off your line and get your hands dirty, then I'm not having it. So it is all it is. So I think Buffon is another one that everyone will throw out there. Obviously, United fans will throw out Van de Sar, but again, you're taking the outlying sample and you're using that as the rule instead of the exception, which just doesn't work. And so, what you gonna do? Rich says IQ should increase every year. Athleticism goes down after mid-20s. Sweet spot usually mid to late 20s. Outfield, that's sweet spot. I mean, that's why you need a good mixture. And so, but that was also a big part why I've been a little more patient with Højlund, is because a lot of the stuff that we criticize him about is stuff that you really start to develop later on. Højlund's only been playing first team football for 3 seasons now, really, and he wasn't even meant to be a starter at Atalanta. He had to start because Zapata got injured. It's just the way it is. And so we signed Højlund when he was 20. And so I'd still sell him, but we have to replace him. But that's why I was always a little more patient in that regard. But what are you going to do? So Brennan Chappell says, you can either read the game IQ or you can't. Experience doesn't have that much of an impact. Experience basically limits the silly risk you take. I would argue that, strikers and whatnot and defenders, especially, as you're getting more experience on the pitch and stuff, you do start to take the things that you're learning and it becomes second nature. It becomes muscle memory. You look at like movement in the box for a striker. I think a lot of it is natural. A lot of strikers are naturally good at that, but some strikers will, I think the majority will develop that movement just from experience as they get older and as they play. You can have natural skill. You can have a lot of time in the academy. You can be the best player in the academy, but there's something to be said for just first team experience over the years and what that's going to do for you. And so I don't think it's either or. I think it's both. And I think it just is what it is. It's all kind of twisted up together in a big knot. So how old was Neuer? Like he's still starting. He's got to be like 38 or something, right? But Neuer was on my list too. So again, 5. So Son Goku, big up. Emi Martinez to United. Yeah, we're just finishing up that right now. I'm not paying 40 million for a 32-year-old. He'll be 33 in September, I believe. So I'm done with that. So it is what it is. Brennan says there's a reason certain people go to top universities and others would be lucky to finish clown school. Years of experience wouldn't bridge that gap. Well, you're talking about school, and more often than not, the people who go to universities, they're either scholarships, so someone else is paying for it, or they're not. And I do think that universities are in a little bit, for a lot of people, universities they're just not worth it. A lot of people, a lot of the jobs that are out there now, they're paying a lot of money. You don't need a college degree to do. I'm not saying don't go to college, because some jobs, if you want to be a doctor, you got to go to college, but a lot of things you don't. And so it just depends on the person, just like it just depends on the player. So it is what it is. So, but yeah, you guys let me know if you're having Emi Martinez. I'm not having it for 40 million. If there was if you were free, or if there was some sort of opportunity to make a swap with Sancho, go for it. But I'm not having it for him. And there's better value for money. And I don't think United are looking for a keeper that minute right there. So, woo, welcome to the channel. All striker talk. Ollie Watkins could be a good shout if a reasonable fee. Villa or Skin. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that with Villa a little bit, just because I think if we didn't have Cunha and we didn't have Mbeumo, I would definitely not give Ollie Watkins a second look. I'm not saying I would look at Ollie Watkins as the answer, because I don't think he is the answer. But it takes now that we've got other goal scorers in the squad, and I said this throughout the season, it's not necessarily that I think we did need a striker, but I was more concerned about goal scorers, because we were very one-dimensional, very overly reliant on one or two players for goals. Now we're spreading those goals out throughout the team, and I think that helps. Now I really focus more on a not only a striker who could score goals, but a striker who does fit not only Amorim's system, but you think could work well with these other players that we're bringing in. The movement of Mbeumo and Cunha around him. And that's why we talked about the striker we were linked with earlier, Aroka Dare at Genk. Did a little scout report on that. If you guys are dropping in late, you guys go check that out when we're done. But big up, Woo. Good to see you. Yeah, Watkins is a good shout. Like if it was Watkins and like Ekitike, I wouldn't complain. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I wouldn't complain. I don't think Watkins is want to come in unless he's starting, and I don't know if he's good enough to be our starting striker at the moment. But we'll see. I know John Duran is not having a good time in the Saudi League. Maybe we can go get John Duran a little bit, but we'll see. So I saw Rashford linked to Newcastle, but then I read it was from the Sun, and then I just went down living my life. Do we really want to spend any more time on rumors from the Sun? I know Rashford's dream is Barcelona, and there were a lot of links to Barcelona, but it sounds like Barcelona they have priorities. Rashford never seemed to be their top priority, even like Luis Diaz was in. But it sounds like Barcelona are wrapping up a 6-year deal for Nico Williams, which makes more sense for them. I think that unless Rashford wants to up his game and become a full-fledged number 9, I don't see Barcelona happening anytime soon. Where does Rashford go, though, if not Barcelona? If he doesn't get his dream move? Bayern, are they looking for a left, trying to think who they have on the left wing? So Sané's leaving, right? And I don't think that Elise is going anywhere. Who plays on the left side for Bayern? I'm trying to think of. I don't watch a lot of Bayern games because that league is. I watch a lot of the lower teams in that league because there's a lot of good players, but the league itself is just kind of let's see, Juventus, maybe could he go to Juventus? I know there's rumors that Yildiz could be leaving. Al Hilal. I know Al Hilal are always on the lookout for somebody, so he can't drink over there though. So that would be maybe there's a team in Belfast where Rashford can go play, and then he would have a shorter commute to his favorite hangouts. He could go back to Villa maybe, but I don't see anything else. Debas is Rashford next. I was always dreaming of playing for Bayern Munich one day. Yeah, who did Bayern play on the wing? I'm trying not to think of their Auckland game as a reference point because that was an absolute joke. This Club World Cup is an absolute joke. Ridiculous. Sounds like Richard Rios is having a decent game. Let me go look back at that Bayern game real quick and see if I can see who was playing for them. 10-0 was the score, and that's just an embarrassing. Coman. They still have Kingsley Coman. Interesting. I thought that dude was gone. Who else? I forgot they have Conrad Lehmann. Man, I really wanted Conrad Lehmann when he was at Leipzig. He's such a good player. But, yeah, I don't know where Rashford's going to go. It's clearly he's not involved, even though... So Sancho, Anthony's numbers not available to get at the club's site on the new kit. Rashford's is still there. I think the club think enough people still like Rashford that they'll still buy his jersey. I don't know why they want to buy a Rashford jersey. It's not like he's going to be here, so it is what it is. But it has been reported that Saudi side Al Ali are interested in Rashford. I saw that coming out this morning. So that's the Saudi side where Ivan Toney, Riyad Mahrez, Roberto Firmino, Edouard Mendy, that's the Saudi side they all play for. So another one of the richer Saudi sides. Not all the Saudi clubs are rich. There's like a handful that have all the money, basically. So maybe that could be a good fit. Who knows? But these overpaid, overhyped English wingers need to learn some humility. They need to learn to fucking read the room. Rashford, Sancho, Grealish, overhyped, overpaid flops. All of them. Rashford had a couple decent seasons, and he was on a bit of an upward trend. 22-23 Rashford was a thing of beauty, but his attitude has just been shit. And so, like, these guys need to learn a bit of humility and recognize Sancho. Dortmund didn't want you to keep you. We don't want you. Fucking Chelsea don't want you. Chelsea paid to give you back to us, man. Like, take the hint, show some fucking humility, and keep your head down and try to find a move. Like, quit getting on social media. Quit talking all this good stuff, man. Quit popping off all that good shit, as Stinkmeaner would say, and just go do your thing, bro. Go play football. Take a pay cut. learn some humility. Now, you don't have to. You're entitled to it the same way Casemiro is. I get it. That's on United. We fucked that one up. But you want to sit there and take a pay cut, or do you want to go play football, man? Come on. It is what it is. So, speaking of Sancho, though, Sky Italy claimed that Napoli are edging closer to a move for him. The Italian club are reportedly working on a proposal to bring him to Serie A. So, could be a decent fit. So, they got to fill a Kvaratskhelia-shaped hole in that squad. Obviously, get a little bit of a reunion with McTominay as well. I think Lukaku's still kicking around out there. Could be a good fit. Think he would work well under Antonio Conte. Let me see. Usman, welcome, Usman. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you and the family are doing well, man. But hope you're going well. Device says, how on earth is Conte interested in Sancho? I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. I mean, does he fit that system? Does he have the kind of attitude that Conte likes from his players? I mean, he's not hardworking and humble like McTominay is. He's not selfless like McTominay. People, this is the thing. Why does Conte like McTominay? Why did Jose? Why did Ollie? McTominay has the attitude that every coach would literally give their left arm to have 11 of in a squad. You may doubt his technical ability, all that stuff, the fit for the system. We did that video a couple weeks ago. Were we wrong to sell him? You can go check that one out. But you can't ever deny McTominay's effort and his work ethic. You just can't. The guy will literally run through a brick wall. He doesn't care who his manager is. He will run through a brick wall and he will do what he has to do. And that's just the plain and simple. I would love it. So Woo says, oh man, don't mention Sancho. The guy should retire. Imagine the way those lads behave and then a club pays $5 million to give him back. Yeah, like if that's not a reality check, I don't know what is, personally. I'm just checking in the news to see if anything new has popped up while we've been live. You guys, make sure you're hitting that like button for me. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you guys are new as well. Yeah, I don't see for just some bullshit coming from Samuel Butthurts. You guys know I don't really have time for Samuel Butthurts on this channel. So Tabasi said, Ten Hag sold a gem. Could have been a box-to-box player. Yeah, he didn't really fit the system that in the role in that system. McTominay's only role in that system was going to be in the pivot, and he just couldn't do that job very well. Again, go watch the video. I break it down in there. Again, this is just because I did a video on it doesn't mean I'm like, this is the way it is, so let it be written, so let it be done. But the evidence is there. We looked at heat maps, we looked at percentiles, we looked at all of it. Go check out the video. And then finally, Xabi Alonso made some funny statements following Real Madrid's 1-1 draw with Al Hilal in the bullshit Club World Cup that kind of echo from some of the stuff we've been seeing from Amorim since he arrived. And so they drew 1-1, and Xabi Alonso said this: "We suffered tonight. We must suffer. It unites us. We will be suffering a lot this season." What do you guys think that the suffering is normal and expected and it's okay for new managers? He's not going to get a whole lot of patience at Real Madrid. It's just not going to happen. And I know some United fans will look at that truth and say, well, because they have standards. Well, they get to have those standards because of what they've been doing. Like, that's just the way it is. We are starting a proper rebuild. Proper rebuilds always start with negative, with suffering. That's just the way it is. Any proper rebuild, that's the way it starts. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes several years. Pep didn't even win anything his first year at City, and they were already well underway on their rebuild. They were already winning before he got there. Liverpool, for 4 years under Klopp, they weren't doing anything. Klopp lost the Europa League final his first season too. Nobody wants to remember that. So Arsenal, still shit. It is what it is. So Data says not with that squad. Yeah, man. Managers need time, and a proper rebuild always starts slow, and it's gonna be painful. I worry sometimes, and I've said this a couple times, that this United fan base, I don't think that in general the United fan base is entitled or fickle or impatient or whatever you want to call it. I think that after the last 12, 13 years, we're at like a very, very like tense point with when it comes to that. Had this happened the first couple of years after Fergie, like if Amorim brought in, I think people would be a little less impatient. But I think that Amorim is kind of catching the strays of 12 years of mismanagement from the people who make the most important decisions at this club. So hopefully we will see something different from Ineos, whatnot. They've made a ton of bad, in my opinion, ton of mistakes, ton of bad decisions, a lot of negative optics aimed at the club this summer, or throughout the season. I mean, So they do have a lot of work just to get back to neutral for myself and a lot of you guys. We've talked about that, but this summer's got to be perfect. We've got to have a good plan. We've got to stick to it. We've got to be patient. We can't react to a lot of things. We have to build, not buy. And that's pretty much been my mantra on this channel for the last several months. Build, not buy. Ignore the exterior noise. Know your plan, stick to your plan, and be patient and see it through. That's how you do rebuild. That's why Liverpool are at a place now, 10 years after, Klopp first got there, where they can just bring in a single player for 100 million in Florian Wirtz, and they keep on running. Like, that's the reward for sticking through a rebuild and getting it right. And all of that includes the manager and the players and everything. So we have the opportunity to get there. It may not happen, and a lot of that has to do with just getting it wrong for the last 12 years, but you got to start properly sometime, and now's as good a time as any. So it's a shame that it took this long, but what are you going to do? I just bit myself on the lip. Literally the same spot I bit myself on like 5 times yesterday. Don't you hate that? Like, just want to freaking punch something out of frustration. So that is it from me, though. Not a ton. We got a lot out of it, though. We had a good conversation. Really happy to see that. Happy to see everybody getting involved. A lot of new faces. I love that. You guys, make sure before you get out of here and enjoy the rest of your Thursday, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Please check out the memberships if you want to learn how to get more involved. Go check out the links if you guys want to watch any of these matches. Fanatics links, kit bag links, and Fanatics links, all in the video description. Go check those out. The kit bag, I think, has got $10 off today when you register, or 10% off, I think. So go check that out. Get yourself kitted out. Take it easy, you guys. You guys know I will be back in case we get any late breaking news. But until then, enjoy your day. And I will see you guys on the next one.